Hey everyone, welcome back to our summer installment of Eye of the Storm. We will be discussing all things St. John's and New York City related.
We hope you guys are staying cool in this heat. Trust me, it's hot here too. I'm Katrina Porter.
And I'm Daniel Ordonez, and without further ado, let's see what's been happening. On April 21st, 2025, Pope Francis sadly passed away at the age of 88. After suffering a stroke while recovering from pneumonia, he took his last breath in the early morning just after Easter Sunday. He was known for his humility and making a lasting impact not just on Catholics, but non-religious people alike. He has been very outspoken about the atrocities committed around the world, such as the wars in Gaza and Ukraine. As of this recording, there is no pope chosen, but there are some likely candidates, such as Cardinal Parolin, Cardinal Tagle, Cardinal Umbongo, and Cardinal Scola.
Have you ever attended a concert at Forest Hill Stadium? Well, there was a chance that concerts at this venue would come to an end. On March 19th, the NYPD issued a letter that explained the refusal to issue new sound amplification permits. The Forest Hills Garden Corporation, who manages the surrounding residential area, refuses to let the NYPD close down the surrounding streets due to a number of reasons. Residents of Forest Hills have complained about noise levels, blocked driveway, and public urination. The NYPD, Forest Hills Garden Corporation, and Tiebreaker Studios, the company that manages the stadium, all reached an agreement. But now the Forest Hills Garden Corporation feels they were misrepresented in the contract. They deemed the security plans as inadequate. Let's hope a new and more efficient plan to benefit the residents nearby is reached soon.
The Department of Homeland Security will be reinforcing the Real ID Act. The act was originally passed in 2005 at the suggestion of the 9/11 Commission in order to set standards for the issuance of sources of identification, such as driver's licenses. Here we are 20 years later, and on May 7, 2025, U.S. travelers must be Real ID compliant to board domestic flights and access certain federal facilities. That's a lot of official-sounding words, but worry not. According to the Department of Homeland Security, if you do not have a Real ID, you can use a federally approved document like a valid passport or permanent resident card to get through airport security. You can get a Real ID by visiting the DMV office.
Recent actions by the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, have raised significant concerns regarding the treatment of international students on American college campuses. Notably, the abrupt detention of Rumeja Öztürk, a Turkish doctoral student at Tufts University, has sparked widespread outrage. Öztürk was forcibly taken by masked ICE agents in Somerville, Massachusetts, and transported to a detention facility in Louisiana without prior notice to her or the university. This incident has prompted protests and legal challenges, with advocates arguing that such actions violate due process and suppress academic freedom. There are many such cases of this, such as Doğukan Güneydin. Güneydin has filed a lawsuit contending that his detention infringes upon his rights and instills fears among other international students. The Trump administration has leveraged immigration policies to suppress dissent, leading to visa revocations and deportations of students engaged in pro-Palestinian movements. In response to these developments, university and advocacy groups are calling for greater transparency and adherence to due process in immigration enforcement. They emphasize the need to protect the rights of international students and uphold the principles of academic freedom and free expression.
Last month, President Donald Trump signed an executive order for the dismantling of the U.S. Department of Education. During his campaign trial, President Trump promised to dismantle the DOE, making claims that the department is polluted and wasteful with liberal ideology. The order calls for the Secretary of Education, to the maximum extent appropriate and permitted by law, take all necessary precautions to facilitate the closure of the Department of Education and return authority over education to the states and local communities. Republicans are in the process of writing up a legislation to achieve the dismantling of the DOE, while Democrats are quickly trying to oppose the idea. However, the dismantling of the DOE will be impossible without an act of Congress who created the DOE in the 1970s.
NYC has finalized new laws to end the use of ghost license plates. And this past year, the NYPD had begun a full crackdown on illegally obscured license plates. The new rules include a push for license plate visibility and a prohibition on vehicle covers. This ghost license plate usage has increased in response to the success of automated enforcement such as speed cameras and congestion pricing. One of the convicted offenders was an off-duty officer. Arrests and convictions are still ongoing.
2,200 files, consisting of over 63,000 pages of the JFK files, were released on March 17th. The files were released to fulfill a promise of the Trump administration, but there has been no smoking gun found in the new files, vindicating conspiracy theorists. But there were the Social Security numbers of over 400 congressional staffers who were involved in the congressional inquiries. The whole thing was done so poorly, it really makes you wonder, what are they hiding?
Lots of interesting things happening in the year of 2025. Let's bring it back to campus and take a look at the Empire State of Fashion. WRED-TV was invited to attend Red House's fashion show back in April. For those who couldn't attend, here are some of the highlights from the fashion club here on campus.
Wow, everyone showed up and showed out.
They did. It really felt like a professional fashion show. Let's catch up with some sports.
Even though St. John's took an early exit against Arkansas, the tournament continued with all 4 #1 seeds reaching the Final Four. Duke faced Houston in a rematch of last year's Sweet 16 match, and it's the battle of SEC with Florida facing Auburn. After some intense men's Final Four and championship games, it was the Florida Gators who came out on top as national champions. Go Gators!
Really?
What? I have some friends that go to UF.
Anyways, for the women's basketball, UConn took the win against the University of South Carolina. What a great season. Rick Pitino finished in a tie with Auburn's head coach Bruce Pearl for the 2025 AP Coach of the Year award. This is the first tie in the award's 58-year history, with both coaches receiving 20 votes each. Pitino being recognized for this award doesn't come as a surprise and goes to show all the hard work he's done at St. John's thus far. In his second season under the helm, the decorated coach led the Red Storm to a 31-5 record, Big East regular season and conference titles, and their first NCAA tournament appearance since 2019. Pitino is the first St. John's coach to be named AP Coach of the Year and the 6th in the Big East Conference history. He will look to repeat his success with the Red Storm under a new roster and hopefully make a deep run in the NCAA tournament next season. Congratulations, Rick.
On the topic of basketball, new plans for a practice facility are taking shape in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. The New York Liberty Practice Facility is a state-of-the-art facility set to house the WNBA champions. Boasting 75,000 square feet, it will house 2 full-size courts, smart technology to analyze on-court movements, private locker room suites for every player, and a 2-story strength training facility. Other amenities include offices, spas, dining areas, media rooms, and many more. And the facility is expected to open in 2027.
What a promising run of sports news. If you want to hear more sports coverage, please check out our SportsWire videos on our channel.
Our very own Caitlyn Oviedo got a chance to interview Shamia Ortiz, a law student with a passion for fashion. Let's go check it out.
Studying law, loving fashion, finding the balance between them both. This is 16 Minutes with Shamia Ortiz. Shamia, what is Mimi's Closet?
So Mimi's Closet is an Instagram I created to kind of showcase my outfits and to give others outfit inspiration. I guess my goal was to kind of show people that you can express your personality through your clothes and in your sense of style. So I think that's the main reason that I kind of created it.
So it's an account both for expressing and like showing off your fashion, but also like, I know you sell your clothes there too. So like, how did you decide to make an account to sell your clothes besides like a Depop or something?
Yeah, so I feel like an Instagram is more personal. It kind of resembles more of a community. So I wanted people to be able to kind of tell me what they were in search for, and if I came across it at the thrift store, because most of the clothes that I sell are thrifted. I do believe in like sustainability and secondhand shopping, so I kind of wanted to spread that message to my audience that we should be, sustainably shopping, and thrifting is something that takes a lot of patience that not everyone has. So I think my Instagram was, like the goal of selling clothes on my Instagram was to kind of show people clothes that were trendy, and give them the opportunity to buy them at a pretty affordable price.
I get that. And so you really love thrifting. What's the nicest find you've gotten at a thrift store?
So I have a lot of favorite finds. Almost my entire wardrobe is completely thrifted. But I would have to say like some of the shoes I found were insane, or, some of the skirts. I kind of go for more of like a fairy bohemian kind of vibe, and I love finding stuff like that at the thrift store, especially when they're one of a kind.
Love that. And you're studying law, and you want to pursue that, but you're also interested in fashion. How do those two interests kind of contribute to the account, and then also just like the way you interact with fashion?
So when you're studying something as heavy as law, you need a creative outlet to kind of, express yourself and to, in a sense, take your mind off of all of the hard stuff that you're learning about. And I think that the same way that I want to create a sense of community and to speak for others and allow others to have like different opportunities to get certain types of clothing, I want to do the same thing in terms of law. I want to give people voices, and I want to make sure that they feel heard. So just kind of like the same goal, just creating a community, interacting with people, and making sure I can kind of deliver what they're looking for.
Right. What type of law are you hoping to pursue?
I'm hoping to pursue criminal law. That's really where my passion is, but I do have a really big passion for wrongful conviction, and I want to potentially become a defense lawyer and work on projects like that. I'm actually taking a really interesting course regarding that, so again, I do need like a fashion outlet to kind of, lighten the load a little bit.
Yeah, so it seems like you're really into, like, besides the environment, like really just sustainability and like, I don't want to say like social justice, but it seems like that's like, so how did you get into that type of stuff, like that love for helping others?
I think it comes from a sense of like, I didn't really grow up in the best neighborhood, so just kind of seeing like all the injustices happen there, it kind of inspired me to kind of seek ways in which I can help people gain the justice that they're seeking. And I'm just kind of a person who likes to help people and make them feel heard and make sure that they have a platform to express themselves. And I think that's what I also do on Mimi's Closet, where I kind of give people a platform to talk about clothes and express their interests without, having to go on Depop. And again, it just creates a better sense of community.
Yeah, it's a sense of community. I get that. How do you balance these two interests?
So I always show up to school and my classes kind of feeling my best, because when I look my best, I feel my best, and then I feel like I can engage in the work that I'm learning about better. So I guess I'm just really excited to enter the corporate world and to kind of blow them away with my fashion, because I think there's a certain stigma around lawyers and attorneys, and you can still be very work appropriate while being fashionable. And I think that that's something I also want to portray to others.
So is one of your like inspirations Elle Woods?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I definitely plan to be in a pink pantsuit in the courtroom. I also think that a lot of people underestimated her. And I feel like as a woman of color, I'm constantly being underestimated. 100%. So I think that that's definitely something, like she's definitely an inspiration, like a woman lawyer, attorney.
I love that. Thank you so much, Shamia. This has been so great. This has been 60 Minutes with Shamia Ortiz, talking about fashion and law school.
Thank you.
before we close out for the summer, let's talk about some movies we can look forward to seeing. This is going to be a great summer for blockbuster films. In June, we're getting a live-action remake of How to Train Your Dragon, a John Wick spin-off called Ballerina, and 28 Years Later, the long-awaited final film in the 28 Days Later series.
In July, the franchises are clashing. DC and Marvel both seek to win audiences back with Superman and Fantastic Four. First steps, respectively. Meanwhile, Jurassic World Rebirth marks a new start for the franchise, with Scarlett Johansson leading the film. In August, the new Darren Aronofsky film, Caught Stealing, starring Austin Butler, Bad Bunny, and Zoe Kravitz premieres.
Other films premiering that month include a reboot of The Naked Gun with Liam Neeson is slated to premiere, and finally, a sequel to Freaky Friday, Freakier Friday, is set to premiere with Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis reprising their roles. Who says Hollywood doesn't make original films?
Coming off that, Marvel Studios announced the official start of the production for Avengers Doomsday.
Fans have been awaiting more news about the production ever since 2024's San Diego Comic-Con.
In those long 5 hours, who we do see is a very big surprise.
With the previously announced Robert Downey Jr. playing Dr. Doom, along with Anthony Mackie and Chris Hemsworth possibly reprising their roles as Captain America and Thor.
Along with them, we see Patrick Stewart, who played Professor X, Ian McKellen, who played Magneto, the Universal Studios X-Men movies, along with Pedro Pascal, who will be playing Mr. Fantastic in the aforementioned Fantastic Four movie. Gambit, a fan favorite played by Channing Tatum, will also be making his awaited return since Deadpool and Wolverine.
Now with an all-star lineup of new faces and returning actors, people are more excited than ever to see what will happen in Avengers Doomsday.
A blast from Nickelodeon's past has had the internet buzzing. Drake and Josh reunited. For the first time in decades, the former co-stars sat down for a public conversation that really covered all the bases that fans and nostalgia enthusiasts alike have been eager to hear about. The Nickelodeon alums sat down together on Josh Peck's Good Guys podcast and spoke about everything from their shared past, friendship, trauma, and their tumultuous feud. The meaningful reunion was covered over the course of a two-part series, with the first half airing on Monday, March 24th, followed by the second half airing on Thursday, March 27th. The reunion has not only sparked nostalgia, but has also prompted thoughtful discussions about the experiences of actors, especially young actors, and how they navigate the complexities of the entertainment industry.
In other news, the wrestling world has left in shambles last month as John Cena turned heel following his win at the Elimination Chamber. Cena, who was the face of WWE for many years and is in the middle of his retirement tour, shocked the world by viciously assaulting Cody Rhodes following a signal from The Rock. The reactions to this turn are mixed, as some fans feel betrayed by Cena's actions. However, other fans are embracing this change, excited to see what this new persona has to offer. John Cena's WrestleMania win has set many records, and he's the only one to win the championship of a total of 17 times, beating Ric Flair. No matter which side you are on, there is still one question that needs to be answered, and that is, what's next for John Cena? And that's going to close this summer's installment of Eye the Storm.
Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more of us, make sure to follow us on our socials. It was so fun being a part of WRED-TV. I'm gonna miss the studio.
Same here. Signing off for the last time, I'm Daniel Ordonez.
And I'm Katrina Porter, and thanks again. We hope you have a blessed summer.